Have you ever noticed how difficult life can feel when you are waiting for other people to make it better? You wait for someone to understand you. You wait for a friend to call. You wait for a partner to choose you. You wait for family to believe in your plans. You wait for someone to notice how hard you are trying. And while you are waiting, your own life quietly sits in the background. This is one of the most painful traps a person can fall into, not because relationships are bad, but because life becomes fragile when your happiness depends on people doing what you hope they will do. People change, people get busy, people misunderstand you. Some support you only when your choices are convenient for them. Some stay close while you are useful, then disappear when your life becomes difficult. Some love you deeply, but still cannot give you the kind of understanding you are searching for. If your peace depends on perfect support, you may spend your entire life disappointed. But there is another way to live. You can build a life that still feels meaningful when nobody is cheering for you. You can wake up with direction, even when your phone is quiet. You can enjoy your evenings without needing someone to fill every hour. You can make decisions without collecting 10 opinions first. You can become emotionally steady enough that another person's mood does not control your day. You can enjoy connection without being terrified of losing it. And you can become so comfortable with your own life that solitude no longer feels like rejection. This does not mean becoming cold, isolated, or convinced that you need nobody. Human beings are built for connection. Good relationships matter. Support matters. Love matters. But there is a difference between appreciating people and depending on them for your entire sense of worth. There is a difference between enjoying companionship and being unable to function without constant attention. There is a difference between healthy connection and emotional dependence. The goal of this audiobook is not to teach you how to avoid people, it is to teach you how to stop abandoning yourself just because other people are absent. You are going to learn how to enjoy your own company, how to create a peaceful daily life, how to stop chasing one-sided relationships, how to protect your mind from unnecessary drama, how to build confidence without applause, and how to keep moving toward a better future even when nobody fully understands what you are trying to build. Because the most important question is not, who is going to stay with me forever? No one can promise you that. The more useful question is, can I build a life I am proud to live, whether people stay or go? If the answer becomes yes, everything changes. Chapter 1. Stop waiting for people to make your life feel complete. A surprising amount of unhappiness comes from postponed living. People tell themselves, I will enjoy life when I have better friends. I will travel when I find someone to go with. I will start exercising when someone joins me. I will feel confident when my family believes in me. I will finally relax when somebody makes me feel secure. These thoughts sound harmless, but they slowly teach your mind that your life cannot fully begin until another person gives you permission. That is a dangerous belief because other people are unpredictable. You can control your effort, your habits, your choices, and your attention. You cannot control whether someone calls you back, believes in your dream, understands your personality, or stays close forever. When your happiness is built on things you cannot control, your emotions become unstable. You are fine when people respond the way you want, and miserable when they do not. Think about how often people delay simple experiences because they do not want to do them alone. They refuse to eat at a restaurant alone, even though they would enjoy the food. They avoid going for a walk because nobody is available. They never visit the place they want to see because they are waiting for the perfect companion. They stay home on weekends feeling unwanted, not because there is nothing they could do, but because they have decided that an experience only counts if someone is beside them. This is how a person can have freedom and still feel trapped. The first step toward a happy life alone is to stop treating your own company as the second best option. Your life is not a waiting room. You do not have to sit still until the right people arrive. There are books you can read now, skills you can learn now, places you can visit now, habits you can build now, money you can save now, rooms you can improve now, walks you can take now, and goals you can move toward now. One of the strongest decisions you can make is this: I will not postpone a good life simply because nobody is available to join me. This decision changes small things first. You drink your coffee slowly instead of scrolling for company. You take yourself outside instead of spending the entire day indoors. You cook something you enjoy, even if nobody is there to praise it. You create plans for your weekend instead of waiting to be invited somewhere. You begin treating your time as valuable, even when nobody else is present. Then the decision changes bigger things. You stop waiting for encouragement before beginning a project. You stop asking people who do not understand your goals to approve them. You stop treating lack of support as proof that your idea is wrong. You learn to separate advice from permission. This matters because people often judge your path from the limits of their own experience. Someone who has never taken a risk may call your plan unrealistic. Someone who gave up on their own dream may tell you to be practical. Someone who depends heavily on social approval may not understand why you want a quieter life. Their opinion may be sincere, but sincerity does not automatically make it correct. You have to learn how to hear people without handing them the steering wheel. A complete life is not a life where someone is always beside you. A complete life is a life that still contains purpose, curiosity, progress, health, self-respect, and meaningful moments when nobody else is watching. Support can make the journey easier, but support is not the engine. If the engine is inside you, then help is useful without being necessary. Ask yourself what you have been postponing because you are waiting for someone else. Maybe it is a course you want to start. Maybe it is a morning routine you keep delaying. Maybe it is learning to drive, joining a gym, starting a business idea, organizing your finances, fixing your sleep, visiting a new place, or simply spending one quiet evening without feeling sorry for yourself. Pick one thing and begin without an audience. The purpose is not to prove that you need nobody. The purpose is to prove to yourself that your life can move even when support is missing. Every time you take action alone, your mind collects evidence. It learns, I can begin. I can decide. I can handle discomfort. I can create good experiences for myself. That evidence becomes confidence. And confidence built through action is stronger than confidence borrowed from praise. You may still wish certain people supported you. That is normal. You may still feel disappointed when somebody you care about does not understand your path, but disappointment does not have to become paralysis. You can feel the absence of support and continue anyway. That is where freedom begins. Chapter 2. Become someone you genuinely enjoy being with. Many people say they hate being alone, but what they really hate is being alone with a mind they have never learned how to live with. The moment there is silence, uncomfortable thoughts appear, regrets return. Insecurities get louder. Boredom feels heavy. The person reaches for the phone, opens social media, watches random videos, sends messages to people they do not even enjoy talking to, or creates unnecessary plans simply to escape their own company. The problem is not always solitude. Sometimes the problem is that your relationship with yourself has been neglected for years. Imagine living with another person every day while never asking what they like, never listening to their feelings, constantly criticizing them, comparing them with strangers, and reminding them of every mistake they have ever made. That relationship would become miserable, yet many people treat themselves exactly this way. They know what everyone else likes, but not what they enjoy. They know what makes other people angry, but not what drains them. They know how to comfort a friend, but not how to calm themselves. They know how to impress people, but not how to spend a peaceful afternoon alone. Becoming good company for yourself starts with curiosity. What do you actually enjoy when nobody is watching? What kind of books hold your attention? What kind of music changes your mood? What subjects make you curious? What environments help your mind relax? Do you prefer early mornings or late nights? Do you enjoy long walks, cooking, drawing, fixing things, writing, gardening, learning languages, watching documentaries, lifting weights, photography, gaming, reading history, or simply sitting somewhere quiet with tea? These questions may sound simple, but they matter because many adults have built an entire identity around work, family expectations, relationships, or social roles. Remove those roles, and they do not know what remains. Solitude gives you the chance to find out. Start small. Create a list of things you enjoy that do not require another person. Not things that look impressive, not things that would create good photos, things that actually make time feel worthwhile. Then deliberately place those activities into your week. This is important because enjoyment rarely appears by accident. If you spend your free time doing nothing except scrolling and waiting for messages, being alone will feel empty. Your brain needs meaningful engagement. You need things to look forward to. Maybe Wednesday evening becomes your reading night. Maybe Saturday morning becomes a long walk and breakfast somewhere you like. Maybe you spend 1 hour each night learning something that interests you. Maybe you start improving your room, building a small business, following a workout program, or writing about your thoughts. The point is not to stay constantly busy. Constant busyness can become another form of escape. The point is to create a life with texture, a life that contains learning, rest, movement, creativity, order, challenge, and quiet pleasure. Another part of enjoying your own company is learning how to speak to yourself differently. Pay attention to your inner voice when you make a mistake. Does it say, "You always ruin everything"? Does it say, "Nobody wants you"? Does it tell you that everyone else is ahead? If you allow your mind to speak to you like an enemy, silence will always feel uncomfortable. You do not need fake positivity. You need accurate self-talk. Instead of saying, "I am a failure," say, "I handled that badly, and I can learn from it." Instead of saying, "Nobody cares about me," say, "I feel lonely right now, but this feeling is not the whole story of my life." Instead of saying, "I am behind everyone," say, "My life is not on their schedule." Accurate language keeps temporary pain from becoming a permanent identity. You should also learn how to enjoy ordinary experiences without turning them into proof of loneliness. Eating alone is just eating. Walking alone is just walking. Shopping alone is just shopping. Sitting in a cafe alone is not a public announcement that nobody likes you. Most people are thinking about themselves far more than they are thinking about you. The discomfort often comes from the story you attach to the experience. If your story is, "I am alone because nobody wants me," you will feel rejected. If your story is, "I am spending time with myself today," the same experience can feel peaceful. The external situation may be identical. The meaning changes everything. Over time, you begin discovering that your own company can be surprisingly rich. You can think without interruption. You can move at your own pace. You can change your plans without negotiating. You can explore ideas without explaining them. You can rest without performing. And once you stop treating yourself like someone you are trying to escape, solitude becomes much easier. Chapter 3. Turn solitude into a place of recovery instead of punishment. Being alone can feel completely different depending on how you use it. One person spends 3 hours alone and feels refreshed. Another spends the same 3 hours alone and feels worse. The difference is not always the amount of solitude. The difference is what happens inside that solitude. Unstructured isolation often becomes painful because the mind starts looping. You replay old conversations. You imagine what other people are doing. You check whether someone viewed your message. You compare your life with people online. You remember who disappointed you. You tell yourself stories about why you were left out. By the end of the day, you have been physically alone, but mentally surrounded by other people's opinions. That is not peaceful solitude. That is social anxiety with no one in the room. Healthy solitude needs intention. The first thing to understand is that your nervous system gets tired from constant input. Every notification, conversation, argument, headline, video, message, and opinion asks for a small piece of your attention. If you never step away, your mind begins to feel crowded. You may call it stress, irritability, confusion, lack of motivation, or overthinking. But sometimes the simplest problem is that your brain has had no quiet space to reset. Create periods where nothing is demanding a response from you. Put the phone in another room. Turn off notifications. Stop checking what everyone else is doing. Sit somewhere clean and calm. Take a shower without a video playing. Walk without headphones sometimes. Eat one meal without looking at a screen. Give your mind a chance to finish a thought. At first, silence may feel uncomfortable because your attention has been trained to expect constant stimulation. Stay with it. The goal is not to force yourself into complete stillness for hours. The goal is to rebuild your ability to be present without immediately needing noise. Use solitude for 3 things: recovery, reflection, and direction. Recovery means allowing yourself to rest without guilt. Sleep enough. Stretch. Make your room more comfortable. Prepare food. Take care of basic tasks that make tomorrow easier. A peaceful life alone is built on practical self-care, more than dramatic inspiration. Reflection means looking at your life without constant outside opinions. Ask what has been draining you. Ask what is working. Ask what you keep tolerating that you know is unhealthy. Ask where your money is going, where your time is going, and where your attention is going. You cannot improve a life you are too distracted to examine. Direction means deciding what comes next. Solitude becomes powerful when it helps you make clearer decisions. You can plan your week, set priorities, study, prepare, or think through problems before acting impulsively. One useful practice is a weekly reset. Choose 1 hour each week where you are alone with a notebook. Review the past 7 days. What gave you energy? What drained it? What did you avoid? What did you accomplish? What do you need to stop doing? What are the 3 most important things for the next week? This simple habit turns solitude into a place where your life gets organized. There is also another kind of recovery that only solitude can provide: freedom from performance. Around people, even people you love, part of your attention is always responding. You listen, speak, adjust, explain, react, and manage social expectations. Alone, you can let the performance end. You do not have to be interesting. You do not have to be funny. You do not have to look productive. You do not have to explain why you are quiet. You can simply exist. For someone who has spent years trying to please everyone, this can feel strange at first, but it becomes deeply restorative. Do not confuse peaceful solitude with hiding from life. If you are avoiding all connection because you fear rejection, that is different. If you are neglecting responsibilities, losing interest in everything, or using isolation to avoid dealing with problems, then solitude is no longer helping you. Healthy solitude sends you back into life clearer, calmer, and stronger. Use it as a workshop, not a prison. When you learn this, being alone stops feeling like time you have to survive. It becomes time you can use. Chapter 4. Build emotional self-reliance so other people stop controlling your mood. Emotional self-reliance means you can feel disappointment without collapsing, rejection without losing your identity, criticism without automatically believing it, and loneliness without making desperate decisions. it does not mean you never need comfort. It means your entire emotional system is not controlled by whether somebody else gives you attention. Many people do not realize how much power they hand away. A delayed reply ruins their evening. A cold tone changes their self-esteem. Someone cancels a plan, and suddenly the entire day feels worthless. A family member questions their choices, and they begin doubting everything. Their emotions are being operated by remote control, and the remote is in other people's hands. The way out is not to stop caring. The way out is to create a pause between what happens and what you make it mean. Suppose someone does not reply to your message. The fact is simple: they have not replied yet. Your mind may add a story. They are ignoring me. I must have said something wrong. They are losing interest. Nobody values me. Now one event has become an entire attack on your identity. Emotional self-reliance begins when you separate fact from interpretation. Ask yourself, what do I actually know? Then ask, what am I assuming? This one habit can prevent hours of unnecessary suffering. The same is true with criticism. If someone says you are selfish, difficult, unrealistic, boring, too quiet, too ambitious, too sensitive, or too independent, do not automatically accept or reject the statement. Examine it. Is there useful information here? Is there a pattern I need to improve? Or is this simply a person reacting because I am no longer behaving the way they prefer? Maturity is being able to learn from criticism without being owned by it. You also need ways to regulate yourself when emotions become intense. Go for a walk before sending the message. Sleep before making the decision. Write what you feel before saying it out loud. Eat if you have not eaten. Rest if you are exhausted. Many emotional emergencies become smaller after your body is taken care of. Another powerful skill is learning how to comfort yourself without immediately searching for another person. If you have a difficult day, instead of messaging 5 people and hoping someone rescues your mood, ask what you need first. Do you need rest, food, a shower, movement, quiet, a realistic plan, a distraction for 1 hour, a chance to cry and then regroup? This is not about becoming emotionless. It is about becoming capable. The more capable you become at handling your own emotional state, the less likely you are to stay in bad relationships simply because you are afraid of being alone. You stop accepting disrespect in exchange for attention. You stop chasing people to prevent a temporary feeling of loneliness. You stop apologizing for boundaries just to keep someone close. Emotional self-reliance makes your standards possible. Without it, boundaries are easy to talk about and difficult to keep. You may say, I will not tolerate this again, but the moment the person pulls away, panic takes over and you abandon your own rule. When you know you can survive the silence that follows, you can finally mean what you say. There is another benefit. Your relationships become less exhausting. When you are responsible for your emotional foundation, you do not expect one person to be your therapist, entertainer, motivator, rescuer, and source of self-worth. You can love people without demanding that they regulate your entire inner world. That creates more freedom for everyone. Build a small emotional toolkit. Know what calms you. Know which thoughts make things worse. Know which people are wise enough to call when you truly need perspective. Know which activities bring you back to yourself. Know what you should never do when you are angry, lonely, or desperate. A strong person is not someone who feels nothing. A strong person is someone who can feel deeply without letting every feeling become a command. When you build that ability, other people can still affect you. They simply stop controlling you. Chapter 5. Stop chasing people who only give you enough attention to keep you waiting. One of the biggest obstacles to enjoying life alone is not loneliness. It is attachment to people who are inconsistent. Inconsistent people are difficult to let go of because they do not always treat you badly. They give you just enough attention to keep hope alive. One week they are warm, the next week they disappear. Sometimes they speak as if you matter deeply. Other times they make you feel invisible. You never know where you stand, so your mind keeps trying to solve the relationship. This uncertainty can become addictive. You check your phone, you reread messages, you wonder what changed, you try to be more interesting, more available, more understanding. You lower your expectations. You accept behavior that would be unacceptable from someone else. You tell yourself to be patient, because every now and then the person becomes warm again. But temporary attention is not the same as consistent care. A peaceful life requires you to judge relationships by patterns, not moments. Anyone can be kind for an evening. Anyone can say the right words after you pull away. Anyone can promise to change when they fear losing access to you. The question is not what they do occasionally. The question is what you repeatedly experience around them. Do you feel respected? Is effort mutual? Can you communicate without constantly guessing? Do they only appear when they need something? Do you feel calm after interacting with them, or confused? Confusion is information. You do not need to make every imperfect relationship dramatic. People get busy. People have different communication styles. People go through difficult seasons. But there is a difference between occasional distance and a repeated pattern where you are always the one trying to hold the connection together. If you stop reaching out and the relationship disappears, you did not destroy it. You discovered how much of it you were carrying. This can be painful to accept. It can make you feel foolish for trying so hard. Do not waste time insulting your past self. You were trying to protect a connection you valued. Learn from it and change your behavior now. The strongest move is often to stop chasing and observe. Do not send another message simply because silence makes you uncomfortable. Do not invent reasons to restart a conversation that keeps dying. Do not explain your value to someone who repeatedly acts as if they cannot see it. Give people room to show you what they naturally choose. Then believe the pattern. This is where learning to be happy alone becomes powerful. If you are terrified of solitude, you will accept almost any level of attention. But if your own life is peaceful, interesting and full, low-quality connection becomes less attractive. You no longer need someone's inconsistent presence to escape yourself. That changes your standards without forcing you to become bitter. You can appreciate people and still let them go. You can wish someone well and stop giving them constant access to your mind. You can care about someone and decide that the relationship no longer deserves your energy. Letting go is not always a dramatic ending. Sometimes it is simply the decision to stop investing where there is no return of respect, effort, or honesty. The energy you save matters. Think about the mental space consumed by one confusing relationship, the conversations you replay, the messages you draft and delete, the questions you ask yourself, the plans you postpone because you are waiting to see what they will do. That is life energy. Imagine putting the same attention into your health, career, finances, home, learning, or creativity. The goal is not to become so independent that you never reach out first. Healthy relationships still require effort. The goal is to stop doing all the work while calling it connection. You deserve relationships where effort moves in both directions. Until those relationships appear, do not punish yourself with the wrong ones just to avoid an empty chair. Sometimes, the empty chair is peaceful. Chapter 6. Remove unnecessary drama and protect your mental space. A person can live alone and still have a chaotic mind. This happens when other people continue living rent-free inside their attention. You may not be physically surrounded by drama, but if you spend hours following arguments online, reading gossip, checking what an ex is doing, replaying family conflicts, or allowing every message to pull you into somebody else's crisis, your solitude will not feel peaceful. Your mind has limited space. Protecting it is not selfish, it is necessary. Drama is attractive because it gives the brain stimulation. It makes life feel urgent. There is always something to discuss, someone to judge, some new conflict to analyze. But constant drama creates emotional noise without improving anything. You need to become selective about what deserves access to your attention. Not every message needs an immediate reply. Not every disagreement needs your opinion. Not every rumor needs investigation. Not every person deserves a full explanation of your choices. Not every family conflict is yours to solve. Not every online argument deserves 15 minutes of your life. One of the most peaceful sentences you can learn is, "This is not mine to carry." Some people will try to hand you their anger. Some will call only when there is a crisis. Some will pull you into conflicts between people you barely know. Some will repeatedly complain about the same problem while refusing every solution. If you do not have boundaries, their emotional chaos becomes your daily routine. You can care without becoming responsible for everything. Set practical boundaries. If someone only calls to gossip, change the subject or shorten the conversation. If a group chat constantly creates stress, mute it. If social media leaves you angry and distracted, limit it. If a person repeatedly disrespects your time, stop giving unlimited access. Boundaries work best when they are simple. You do not need a speech for every decision. Sometimes a quieter response is more effective. Less availability, fewer explanations, shorter conversations, and more distance. Protecting your mental space also means protecting your mornings and nights. The first 20 minutes after waking and the last 20 minutes before sleep influence the tone of your mind. If you begin the day with other people's opinions and end it with comparison, you are letting the world enter before you have even met yourself. Try creating a calmer edge around your day. Wake up, drink water, stretch, pray, or reflect if that is part of your life. Write a few thoughts, review your priorities, or simply sit quietly before opening social media. At night, reduce stimulation, tidy your space, prepare for tomorrow, and let your brain slow down. A peaceful life is often built through boring decisions repeated consistently. Clean room, clear schedule, fewer pointless arguments, less scrolling, better sleep, more movement, simple meals, a few meaningful goals. People underestimate these things because they are not dramatic, but your nervous system loves stability. You should also pay attention to the way you create drama inside your own mind. Sometimes nobody is attacking you, but you are imagining future arguments. Nobody has rejected you, but you are predicting it. Nothing has happened, but you are rehearsing worst-case scenarios. When you catch yourself doing this, come back to what is real. What problem exists right now? What action can you take right now? If there is no useful action, release the imaginary conversation. Your attention is one of your most valuable resources. Every hour you give to pointless conflict is an hour you cannot give to building your life. Peace is not something you stumble into. It is something you protect through choices. Chapter 7. Build routines that make your days feel full, even when nobody is around. A lonely life and an alone life are not the same thing. One of the biggest differences is structure. When your days have no shape, solitude can become heavy. You wake up late, stay in bed with your phone, eat whenever you remember, move very little, and wait for something to happen. Hours disappear. By evening you feel restless, unproductive, and strangely tired, even though you did almost nothing. Then your mind concludes, being alone is depressing. But often the real problem is not that you were alone. The problem is that the day had no direction. Human beings need rhythm. We do better when there are small things that anchor the day. You do not need a military schedule. You need enough structure to prevent your mood from deciding everything. Create a morning that starts you, instead of a morning that happens to you. Get out of bed at a reasonable time. Open the curtains. Make the bed. Drink water. Move your body for a few minutes. Wash your face. Eat something. Decide the main task of the day before you disappear into your phone. These actions sound basic, but basic actions are powerful because they tell your brain that the day has begun and you are participating in it. Then give your day categories. Something for your body, something for your mind, something for your future, something for your environment, something for enjoyment. For your body, walk, stretch, exercise, cook better food, or sleep on time. For your mind, read, study, journal, or learn. For your future, work on a skill, a project, finances, education, or career. For your environment, clean one area, repair something, organize your desk, or prepare your clothes. For enjoyment, watch something you actually like, listen to music, cook, play a game, visit a cafe, or spend time on a hobby. When these categories are present, even an ordinary day begins to feel complete. This is especially important on weekends. Many people feel fine during the work week because their schedule is already filled. Then Saturday arrives, nobody calls, and suddenly the silence feels personal. They see other people posting dinners, weddings, trips and gatherings, and their own day starts to look empty by comparison. Do not leave your weekends entirely unplanned if you know that unstructured time makes you feel low. Plan one useful thing and one enjoyable thing in advance. Maybe you clean your room in the morning and visit a new cafe in the afternoon. Maybe you work out, then watch a movie you have wanted to see. Maybe you go to a bookstore, cook something new, work on a personal project, or take a long walk somewhere different. Your weekend does not have to look exciting to other people. It has to feel worthwhile to you. Another mistake is waiting until you feel motivated before doing anything. Motivation is unreliable, especially when you are alone. Nobody is coming to drag you outside, tell you to exercise, or remind you to keep your promises. This is why routines matter. A routine makes action less dependent on mood. You do not ask yourself every day whether you feel like brushing your teeth. You do it because it is part of your life. Build other useful behaviors the same way. Walk at the same time. Read at the same time. Clean at the same time. Prepare meals on certain days. Review finances every week. Call family on a schedule if that connection is healthy. Create habits that reduce the number of decisions your tired mind has to make. Routines also build self-trust. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, even a small one, you send a message to your mind, I can rely on me. That sentence is powerful for anyone trying to become comfortable alone. The fear underneath loneliness is often, if nobody is there for me, who will take care of me? Your routines become part of the answer. You will. You will make sure you eat. You will make sure bills are handled. You will make sure the room gets cleaned. You will make sure your body moves. You will make sure your goals do not disappear just because nobody is watching. This is not glamorous, but it creates security. A stable life is built from hundreds of small acts of self-responsibility. Do not make the mistake of turning routines into another way to punish yourself. You do not need to optimize every minute. You need room for rest. You need slow mornings sometimes. You need days where you do less. The purpose of structure is not to squeeze productivity out of yourself. The purpose is to make your life supportive. Good structure asks, what helps me function well? Not, how can I prove I am always productive? When your daily life is supportive, solitude becomes lighter because you are no longer sitting around waiting for someone else to bring energy into the room. You bring it yourself. Chapter 8. Build confidence without an audience. Some people only feel confident when someone is validating them. If they receive compliments, they feel attractive. If someone praises their work, they feel capable. If people agree with their choices, they feel certain. But the moment the applause disappears, so does the confidence. That kind of confidence is rented. It belongs to the audience, not to you. Real confidence grows differently. It comes from evidence. You say you will do something, and then you do it. You face a difficult task, and you survive it. You learn a skill you once thought was beyond you. You save money. You improve your health. You handle a problem nobody else solved for you. You keep going after a bad day. Each experience becomes evidence that you can trust yourself. This is one reason solitude can be so valuable. When nobody is watching, you learn whether you are living for growth or performance. Would you still exercise if nobody ever saw your body? Would you still read if you could not post the book? Would you still improve your home if nobody visited? Would you still work on your dream if there were no likes, compliments, or public recognition? These questions reveal where your motivation comes from. A strong life has private standards. You keep your room clean because you live there. You take care of your body because you need it. You learn because your mind matters. You save because your future matters. You dress well because it affects how you feel, not because someone might notice. You finish what you start because your word to yourself should mean something. Private standards create private pride. There is a quiet confidence that comes from knowing things about yourself that nobody else needs to know. You know you got up when you wanted to stay in bed. You know you did the workout. You know you saved the money. You know you studied. You know you kept your dignity in a situation where you could have begged for attention. Nobody clapped, but you know. That kind of confidence is difficult to shake because it is not built on public opinion. You should also become comfortable doing things alone that you once believed required company. Start with simple situations. Sit in a cafe alone. Go shopping without rushing. Attend a class. Visit a park. Watch a movie. Travel a short distance. Handle an appointment by yourself. The first time may feel awkward. Do it anyway. Confidence often appears after the action, not before it. The more experiences you handle alone, the more your world expands. You stop seeing yourself as someone who needs a companion in order to function. You become someone who can choose company instead of requiring it. This difference changes how you enter relationships too. When you believe you can handle life alone, you are less likely to stay where you are disrespected. You know leaving will hurt, but you also know you can survive the next chapter. Confidence gives boundaries strength. Another way to build confidence is to become competent at basic life skills. Learn how your money works. Learn to cook a few meals. Learn basic home maintenance. Learn how to travel safely. Learn how to solve common technology problems. Learn how to make appointments, compare prices, read contracts, organize documents, and plan ahead. Dependence sometimes feels like loneliness because you have not yet built enough capability. The more capable you become, the less frightening solitude feels. Do not confuse independence with refusing help. Smart people ask for help when it is useful. The goal is not to prove that you can do absolutely everything yourself. The goal is to avoid feeling helpless when support is unavailable. Confidence is the belief, backed by experience, that you can figure things out. You do not need to know everything. You need to trust that you can learn, and that trust grows every time you stop waiting for someone else to rescue the situation and take the next reasonable step yourself. Chapter 9. Learn how to handle quiet evenings, empty weekends, and the moments loneliness hits hardest. There are certain times when being alone feels heavier than others. Late evenings, weekends, holidays, birthdays, after seeing groups of friends together, after a breakup, after moving to a new city, after finishing work and realizing nobody is waiting to hear about your day. These moments can create a sudden wave of loneliness, even if you are generally comfortable by yourself. You need a plan for those moments because loneliness becomes dangerous when it starts making decisions for you. People return to unhealthy relationships because they feel lonely at night. They message people they already know are wrong for them. They scroll for hours, compare themselves with strangers, spend money impulsively, drink too much, overeat, or accept invitations they do not actually want, because temporary company feels better than silence. A lonely feeling can be real without being a reliable advisor. When loneliness hits, do not immediately ask, "Who can I contact?" First ask, "What exactly am I feeling? Are you bored, tired, rejected, restless, sad, understimulated, missing one specific person? Feeling left behind? These are different problems and they need different responses. If you are bored, activity can help. If you are tired, sleep may help more than socializing. If you are grieving a relationship, distraction alone will not solve it. You may need time to process the loss. If you feel left behind because of social media, getting offline may help. If you genuinely need connection, then reaching out to someone healthy makes sense. The goal is to respond accurately instead of treating every uncomfortable emotion as proof that you need any person available. Create a loneliness list before you need it. Write down 10 things you can do when the feeling appears. Go for a walk. Take a shower. Cook. Clean one area. Call a trusted person. Watch a favorite film. Read. Exercise. Work on a project. Visit a public place. Journal. Listen to a podcast. Take yourself out for tea. Drive somewhere. Organize tomorrow. Keep the list simple enough that you can use it when your mind is low. It also helps to change your environment. Loneliness often grows when you sit in the same dark room for hours. Turn on the lights. Open a window. Go outside. Be around people without needing to interact deeply. A library, cafe, gym, park, market, or place of worship can give you a sense of human presence without forcing social performance. This is an important middle ground. Being happy alone does not require you to spend every free hour in complete isolation. Sometimes what your mind needs is not a conversation. It simply needs to remember that you are part of the world. Holidays and special dates may require more planning. If you know certain days are emotionally difficult, do not pretend they will magically feel fine. Prepare. Decide what you will cook. Decide where you will go. Decide who you might call. Choose a movie or activity. Create your own ritual instead of waiting for someone else to make the day meaningful. There is power in refusing to let a calendar date decide whether your life matters. Birthdays are another example. Some people spend the entire day measuring who remembered, who posted, who called, and who did not. By evening, the day becomes a scoreboard of other people's attention. What if you planned your birthday around what you want to experience instead? Buy yourself something useful. Take the day off if possible. Eat somewhere you like. Visit a place. Start a new tradition. Celebrate the fact that you are alive, instead of testing everyone around you. This mindset does not remove the desire for connection. It removes the belief that your day has no value without external recognition. Another thing to remember is that loneliness passes in waves. It feels permanent while you are inside it, but emotions change. Do not make permanent decisions during temporary waves. Do not send the message you will regret at midnight. Do not return to someone who repeatedly hurt you simply because Friday night feels empty. Do not decide your entire life is meaningless because one evening feels quiet. Sleep. Reset. Let morning give you another perspective. When you learn how to survive the hardest hours without abandoning your standards, you become much freer. Chapter 10. Keep building your future, even when nobody supports your vision. It is easy to work toward a goal when people believe in you. Encouragement gives energy. A supportive family, partner, friend, or mentor can make difficult seasons easier. But many people do not have that kind of support. They have people who laugh at the idea, people who call it unrealistic, people who remind them of every past failure. people who only support safe choices, people who become uncomfortable when someone close to them starts changing. If this is your situation, you need to understand something important. Lack of support is not always proof that your direction is wrong. Sometimes people simply cannot see what you see yet. Every meaningful goal looks uncertain before there is evidence. A new career looks risky before it works. A business looks foolish before customers arrive. A fitness journey looks temporary before results appear. Learning a skill looks pointless until it becomes useful. If you require everyone to understand the outcome before you begin, you may never begin anything new. That does not mean you should ignore reality. Some ideas are bad. Some plans are poorly thought out. Some risks are unnecessary. Independence does not mean refusing intelligent advice. It means evaluating advice based on quality, not simply on how close the person is to you. Ask, does this person understand the subject? Do they understand my situation? Are they pointing out a real risk or simply expressing fear? Are they offering evidence or only opinion? You need honest feedback, not automatic approval. Then create a plan that makes your goal less dependent on motivation. Break it into small actions. If you want a new career, what skill must you learn first? If you want a business, what is the smallest version you can test? If you want financial freedom, what expense can you reduce, and what income can you increase? If you want to write, how many pages can you complete each week? Big dreams become less lonely when they are translated into daily work. Do not spend all your energy trying to convince people. Results are more persuasive than speeches. Some people waste years explaining what they are going to do. They defend the plan, debate doubters, and search for validation. Meanwhile, the actual work remains unfinished. Protect the early stage of your goals. Not everyone needs access to every plan. If sharing your ideas repeatedly leads to discouragement, share less. Work more. Let progress create its own evidence. There is something powerful about learning to work quietly. You wake up and do the task. Nobody asks about it. You do it anyway. You improve a little. Nobody notices. You continue. Months pass. The person you are becoming begins to change before the outside world understands why. This is how self-respect grows. You discover that your commitment does not need constant witnesses. It is also useful to find support in smarter places. Maybe your family does not understand the field, but a community online does. Maybe your friends are not interested, but a class, mentor, professional group, book, or podcast can provide knowledge. Being unsupported by the people closest to you does not mean you must remain unsupported everywhere. Choose guidance based on relevance. At the same time, learn how to encourage yourself in a realistic way. Do not tell yourself, everything will definitely work. You do not know that. Tell yourself, I can keep learning, I can adjust, I can give this a serious attempt. If one approach fails, I can change the approach. That is stronger than blind optimism because it is based on adaptability. Your future does not need unanimous approval. It needs enough discipline for you to keep taking the next step. Chapter 11. Choose relationships from strength instead of fear. Learning to enjoy life alone does not mean the end of relationships. In fact, it can improve them. When you are afraid of being alone, you choose people differently. You may ignore obvious problems because the thought of losing them feels worse. You may stay quiet about things that hurt you. You may overgive, over-explain, and over-compromise. You may confuse chemistry with compatibility and attention with care. Fear lowers standards. When you know you can be okay alone, your choices become clearer. You can ask a simple question: does this person make my life healthier, more honest, and more stable? Or do I keep them around because I am afraid of an empty space? That question can change everything. Healthy relationships should not require you to become smaller. You should not have to hide your goals, silence your opinions, abandon your routines, or tolerate repeated disrespect just to keep someone close. You also should not expect perfection. Every relationship contains misunderstandings, boring periods, differences, and conflict. The goal is not to eliminate discomfort. The goal is to distinguish normal difficulty from chronic damage. Healthy people can apologize. They can communicate. They can respect boundaries. They can be happy for your growth. They can disagree without trying to destroy your confidence. They do not need you to be weak in order to feel secure. When you are emotionally independent, you become better at recognizing these differences because you are not desperate for the relationship to survive at any cost. You can say no. You can slow down. You can watch behavior over time. You can leave when a pattern becomes destructive. You can also give people space without panicking. If a friend is busy, you do not automatically assume rejection. If a partner needs time alone, you do not immediately feel abandoned. Your own life continues while theirs is happening. This creates breathing room. A relationship is healthier when two complete lives meet than when two frightened people cling to each other because neither knows how to stand alone. You should also stop measuring your value by how many relationships you have. 10 weak friendships are not automatically better than 2 strong ones. A busy social calendar is not proof of emotional health. Some people are surrounded by people and still feel deeply unseen. Quality matters more than quantity. One honest friend who respects you can be more valuable than a group that keeps you anxious. One healthy relationship can bring more peace than constant attention from people who do not truly know you. This is why solitude can improve your social life. It raises the standard of what you are willing to exchange your peace for. You no longer need company at any price. You can wait for relationships that feel mutual. And while you wait, your life continues. Chapter 12. Become your own source of encouragement. There will be days when nobody checks on you. Days when you accomplish something important and there is no one around to understand why it matters. Days when you feel tired of carrying your own responsibilities. Days when you want somebody to say, "I see how hard you are trying." Sometimes that person will not appear. This is where self-encouragement becomes a real skill. Many people speak to themselves only when something goes wrong. They notice failures immediately and progress slowly. They finish 9 tasks and obsess about the 10th. They improve for 6 months and focus on 1 bad week. They compare their private struggle with someone else's public success. If you treat your progress this way, you will always feel behind. Start noticing evidence of growth. What can you handle now that once overwhelmed you? What habit has improved? What boundary did you finally keep? What problem did you solve? What are you learning? What have you survived? This is not about pretending you are amazing. It is about giving yourself an accurate record. Keep a small progress list. Once a week, write 3 things you handled well and 1 thing you want to improve. This prevents your mind from turning growth into something invisible. Encouragement also means learning how to restart without creating drama. You will miss days. You will break routines. You will make poor decisions. You will contact someone you promised yourself you would leave alone. You will waste time. You will lose motivation. Do not turn one mistake into a new identity. A bad day is a bad day. Restart tomorrow. People often destroy their own progress by making failure too emotional. They say, "I ruined everything," and then use that belief as permission to quit. A stronger response is simple. That was not good. What is the next useful action? Self-encouragement is practical. Sometimes the next useful action is to apologize. Sometimes it is to delete the app. Sometimes it is to go to bed. Sometimes it is to return to the gym. Sometimes it is to open the book. Sometimes it is to stop thinking and start doing. You also need to celebrate privately. When you reach a goal, mark it. Buy a meal you like. Take a day off. Write down what you learned. Do something small that tells your mind, this mattered. If you only allow achievement to feel real when someone else recognizes it, you will spend too much of your life waiting for applause. Your own recognition should count. This is especially important if you grew up in an environment where encouragement was rare. You may have learned to believe that praise must always come from outside. You can change that pattern as an adult. You can become someone who notices effort. You can become someone who says, I am proud that I kept going. You can become someone who corrects mistakes without humiliating yourself. You can become someone who makes your inner world safer to live in. That matters because you are going to hear your own voice more than anyone else's throughout your life. Make it useful. Chapter 13. Build a life you would still choose even if nobody clapped for it. This is the deepest level of independence. Imagine nobody was impressed by your life. Nobody envied it. Nobody praised your discipline. Nobody liked the photos. Nobody admired your career. Nobody congratulated your choices. Would you still want the life you are building? This question exposes how much of our behavior is performance. People buy things they do not care about to look successful. They stay in relationships that look good from the outside. They pursue careers they dislike because the title sounds impressive. They create social lives that exhaust them because being busy looks desirable. They chase lifestyles designed for other people's approval. Then they wonder why they feel empty when they are alone. Alone, the audience disappears. You are left with the actual experience of your life. Do you like your mornings? Do you like the way your body feels? Do you like your work enough to tolerate its difficulties? Do you like the way you spend your evenings? Do you like the person you become around the people closest to you? Do your habits make your life easier or harder? These questions matter more than appearances. A happy life alone is not built from constant excitement. It is built from alignment. Your values and your behavior begin moving in the same direction. If health matters, your schedule contains movement and rest. If learning matters, you make time to read or study. If financial stability matters, your spending reflects it. If peace matters, your relationships and digital habits reflect it. If freedom matters, you stop building a lifestyle that requires endless approval. Alignment creates quiet satisfaction. You stop needing every day to be exciting because your life makes sense to you. This is also where simplicity becomes powerful. The happiest version of your life may not be the loudest one. It may be a clean home, enough money, a healthy body, useful work, a few good relationships, quiet mornings, interesting books, and the freedom to spend time without constant conflict. Do not underestimate how valuable a low-drama life can be. Many people are addicted to intensity because calm feels unfamiliar. They mistake chaos for passion, constant messaging for closeness, arguments for excitement, and emotional uncertainty for love. When life becomes peaceful, they get bored and create new problems. You may need to learn that peace can feel quiet without being empty. A calm life gives you room to notice small things: good food, a clean room, a productive hour, a sunset, a new idea, a stronger body, a bill paid, a book finished, a problem solved, a day where nobody disturbed your mind. These are not dramatic moments, but together they create a life. The goal is not to convince the world that you are happy alone. If you are constantly trying to prove how independent you are still performing for other people. Real independence is quieter. You simply live. You enjoy people when they are there. You let them go when they choose another path. You build your routines. You protect your attention. You improve your future. You rest. You learn. You handle what needs to be handled. And gradually, you stop asking, "Does anyone approve of my life?" You start asking, "Does this life feel honest, healthy, and meaningful to me?" That is a much stronger question. At the heart of everything in this audiobook is one simple truth. Being alone is not automatically a problem that needs to be fixed. Sometimes it is a season. Sometimes it is a choice. Sometimes it is the result of outgrowing certain relationships. Sometimes it happens because life changes. Sometimes you simply have fewer people around you than you expected. Whatever the reason, you still have a life to live. You can spend that life waiting for someone to arrive, or you can begin building it now. You can make your home feel good to return to. You can strengthen your body. You can improve your money. You can learn. You can create. You can make plans. You can take yourself places. You can rest without guilt. You can stop chasing people who barely meet you halfway. You can protect your peace from unnecessary drama. You can build a future that does not collapse when somebody walks away. And most importantly, you can learn to stay on your own side. There will still be lonely days. Independence does not erase human emotion. You may miss people. You may wish someone understood you better. You may sit in a quiet room and feel the absence of a person who once mattered deeply. Let the feeling exist without turning it into a verdict on your life. Missing someone does not mean you should return to what hurt you. Feeling lonely does not mean you are unloved. Having a quiet social life does not mean you have failed. Being unsupported does not mean you are incapable. These are feelings and circumstances, not identities. A strong life is not a life where nothing hurts. It is a life where pain does not decide everything. You can be disappointed and keep your routine. You can feel rejected and still respect yourself. You can lose a relationship and continue building your future. You can have a quiet weekend and still create a meaningful day. This is what emotional freedom looks like in ordinary life. It is not dramatic. It is waking up and realizing you do not need to check whether someone replied before deciding what kind of day you will have. It is eating alone without feeling ashamed. It is saying no to a relationship that costs too much peace. It is doing the work nobody celebrates. It is going to bed knowing you kept your dignity. It is building a life that still has value when the room is quiet. The more you practice this, the more something surprising happens. You stop seeing solitude as proof that something is missing. You begin seeing it as space. Space to think. Space to recover. Space to choose more carefully. Space to hear your own mind again. Space to become someone you can trust. And when better people enter your life, you meet them differently. You do not grab them out of fear. You do not make them responsible for your happiness. You do not abandon your routines just to keep their attention. You can enjoy them without losing yourself. That is one of the greatest gifts of learning to live well alone. You stop asking people to complete a life you have refused to build. You build the life first. Then connection becomes an addition, not a rescue. So if nobody is supporting you right now, begin anyway. If nobody is calling, create a good evening anyway. If nobody understands the goal, take one step anyway. If somebody walks away, let yourself grieve and keep moving anyway. If the room is quiet, do not rush to fill it with noise. Use the silence. Build your strength there. Build your routines there. Build your confidence there. Build your standards there. Build your future there. Because a happy life alone is not created by convincing yourself that you need nobody. It is created by becoming so rooted in your own direction that the presence of other people becomes something you appreciate, not something you depend on in order to feel alive. That is the difference between loneliness and freedom. And once you learn it, your life no longer has to wait for anyone. The question now is what you do with this understanding tomorrow morning. Ideas only change your life when they become behavior. You can agree with every lesson in this audiobook and still return to the same habits: checking your phone the moment you wake up, waiting for invitations, chasing people who give little effort, comparing your quiet life with someone else's highlight reel, and abandoning your plans whenever nobody encourages you. So make the change visible. Choose one morning this week and begin it without asking the world who remembered you. Do not open messages first. Do not check social media first. Meet your own life before you meet everyone else's. Get up, wash, move, eat, and decide what deserves your attention. Then choose one thing you have been postponing because nobody will do it with you. Make the appointment. Take the walk. Start the course. Go to the place. Cook the meal. Begin the project. The action can be small. What matters is that you stop sending yourself the message that life requires company before it can begin. Next, look at the people who occupy the most space in your mind. Do not ask only who you love. Ask who brings consistency. Ask who respects your boundaries. Ask who gives back some of the energy you give. Ask which relationships leave you feeling settled and which leave you repeatedly confused. You do not have to cut everyone off. You do not have to create a dramatic ending. Just stop over-investing where the evidence is weak. Match effort more carefully. Give people room to reveal how much they genuinely want to be part of your life. The space that appears may feel uncomfortable at first. Do not immediately fill it with another unsuitable person. Fill some of it with yourself. Use the extra hour to sleep properly. Use the quiet evening to learn. Use the money you would have spent trying to impress people to improve something that actually matters. Use the emotional energy to plan your future. Use the weekend to discover what you enjoy when no group is deciding for you. You may be surprised by how much of your old loneliness was actually exhaustion from chasing connection. There is relief in no longer wondering how to make everybody stay. You cannot make everybody stay. You can be loyal, kind, funny, attractive, useful, generous, and still be left by someone whose path changes. You can do everything correctly and still be misunderstood. You can love someone and still be incompatible. You can be a good person and still be the wrong person for a particular relationship. Accepting this does not make life colder. It makes you more realistic. When you stop believing that every departure is a verdict on your worth, you recover faster. You can ask what the experience taught you without turning it into proof that something is fundamentally wrong with you. And when somebody stays, you can appreciate that too, without gripping so tightly that love becomes fear. The healthiest version of independence is not, "I do not care whether anyone stays." It is, "I care, but I will not disappear if they leave." That is the balance. You can love deeply and remain grounded. You can ask for help and remain capable. You can enjoy company and remain comfortable in silence. You can miss someone and still know they are not good for you. You can want support and still move without it. This is a mature kind of strength because it does not depend on pretending you have no needs. It depends on knowing that your needs do not give other people unlimited power over your choices. Maybe your life is unusually quiet right now. Maybe friendships changed. Maybe a relationship ended. Maybe your family is distant. Maybe you moved somewhere new. Maybe you simply reached a stage where the people you once spent time with no longer fit the person you are becoming. Do not rush to label the season as failure. Some empty spaces are painful because something ended, but empty space also gives you the chance to rebuild more deliberately. What kind of person do you want to be when nobody is shaping you through pressure? What habits do you want your days to contain? What kind of home do you want to live in? What kind of work do you want to become capable of doing? What kind of body do you want to take care of? What kind of financial future do you want to create? What kind of relationships will you allow next time? You can use a quiet season to answer questions that constant social noise kept you from hearing. And answers create direction. Direction is one of the best protections against loneliness because a person with direction has somewhere to put their energy. You are not merely waiting for the day to end, you are building something. Even if the progress is slow, the life has movement. This is why purpose matters more than constant entertainment. Entertainment can distract you for an evening. Purpose can carry you through a season. Your purpose does not need to be some enormous mission. It can be practical. Become financially stable. Get healthier. Finish your education. Learn a trade. Raise your children well. Build a business. Write a book. Care for a parent. Create art. Become excellent at your work. Recover from a difficult chapter and build a calmer life. A meaningful direction gives your solitude somewhere to go. Then, when the right relationships appear, you are not asking them to save you from emptiness. You are inviting them into a life that already has movement. That creates a very different kind of connection. You can say, "This is my life. I am taking care of it. I am still growing. I am still learning. I would enjoy sharing part of the journey with you, but I will not hand you responsibility for making the journey worth living." That attitude protects both love and self-respect. So do not make loneliness your identity. Do not introduce yourself to your own mind as the person nobody supports. Support can change, relationships can change, your circumstances can change. Build around what you can practice now. You can practice keeping promises to yourself. You can practice leaving your phone alone. You can practice eating well. You can practice saying no. You can practice spending an evening without chasing attention. You can practice doing difficult things before you feel ready. You can practice enjoying small moments without needing to document them. You can practice allowing people to leave without following them down the road. And every practice changes your identity a little. Eventually, you are no longer trying to become comfortable alone. You simply are. The quiet house is no longer an accusation. The empty evening is no longer evidence that you are unwanted. The lack of applause is no longer a reason to quit. You know how to make a day useful. You know how to recover from disappointment. You know how to make choices. You know how to build. You know how to rest. You know how to reach out when connection is healthy, and how to step back when connection becomes damaging. This is not isolation. This is self-possession. Your life belongs to you again, and that may be the most important lesson of all. Other people can walk beside you, but they cannot live your life for you. They cannot build your habits for you. They cannot protect your mind for you. They cannot make every difficult decision. They cannot guarantee they will always understand you. At some point, you have to become an active participant in your own happiness, not because nobody matters, because you matter too. So build a home inside your life that you do not constantly need to escape from. Build days that have shape. Build standards that do not disappear when you feel lonely. Build goals that survive silence. Build a mind that can hear criticism without losing direction. Build relationships that are chosen, not begged for. Build the ability to sit in a quiet room and know that nothing is wrong simply because no one else is there. That is how you build a happy life alone. Not by closing your heart to people, not by pretending you never need anyone, but by refusing to make your entire life dependent on who stays, who leaves, who approves, who understands, or who claps. Your life is happening now. Live it now.